Last week I said I wasn't going to do an episode this week. But guess what? Here I am, episode 29, and actually the final episode of the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy Podcast starts right now.
Welcome to the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy Podcast, an unofficial podcast discussing all things Vegas Golden Knights, a show designed for the fans by a fan. Produced locally in Las Vegas, Nevada, home of the Fortress. Weekly episodes include segments like Numbers Don't Lie, VGK Rewind, and What the Puck. And now, here's your host, Nick, the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy.
What's going on, Vegas Golden Knights fans? That's right, the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy is back.
And welcome to episode 29 of the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy Podcast. Again, my name's Nick, and well, I'm afraid it's true, folks. You might have seen on social media, I've been throwing some polls out there asking for a little bit of advice for a new podcast name. And I've come to a decision. I've chosen a name. And next week, episode 30 it'll still be episode 30. It's the 30th podcast the BugeyeGuy Guy has done, but it's going to be under a new banner. So, it was kind of challenging for the BugeyeGuy Guy to pick a name because, I got a bunch of names I think are funny, but they're not really professional or they've already been used. That's the big thing when you're searching through iTunes and you're looking at all these different podcasts, because there's a lot of people out there that do podcasts on professional sports teams. Heck, there's a lot of people that do podcasts on our Vegas Golden Knights. So everyone's got to have a little unique niche. Everyone's got to have their own little spin on how they talk about their topics. Just over a year ago, the BugeyeGuy Guy started making his filter videos. That's where I got the nickname VGK, Vegas Golden Knights. BugeyeGuy Guy. I was using a Snapchat filter or a snow filter to change my face, change my voice, and just say stupid random things about the Golden Knights, try and get everyone pumped up, motivated, excited. They were like pre-game hype videos was kind of my niche. And then I was going for like post-game analysis videos where I was ranting and complaining and talking about the games. And that's how the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy kind of came around. Through the summertime, I spent a lot of time working on perfecting editing videos and stuff until I quickly realized two things. One, it takes a ridiculous amount of time to make a video look good. And two, I don't really prefer seeing my face on video. I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of guy, which is why I love the concept of podcasting. I can sit here in my room and talk to you Vegas Golden Knights fans through this microphone. And I love it. And it's a heck of a lot easier to edit audio than edit audio and video, because video, you always have to add those special effects, those banners that shoot across the screen or pictures or names, or it's just a lot of work. And don't get me wrong, I love a good quality video. I love watching people do like post-game videos because I can animate myself here through the microphone, but it's a little different if you're watching me fling my arms all over the place and scream and yell and have all this raw emotion that you can physically see that you might not be able to get. It might not come across well listening to me talk. But you know what? I love podcasting. I love just sitting here talking Vegas Golden Knights. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys love listening to my podcast. If you don't, remember, at VGK BugeyeGuy Guy on all the main social media platforms, you can reach out to me and go, dude, BugeyeGuy Guy, you got to step it up a little bit. Or dude, BugeyeGuy Guy, I really like that. I'm good either way. So the plan moving forward is really simple. I'm going to keep everything I have right now at VGK BugeyeGuy Guy, the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy Facebook page that I use for pretty much all my stuff. I'm still going to be the BugeyeGuy Guy. That's who I am. The host of the podcast is the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy. Now, the podcast name and the podcast show itself, depending how popular it gets. I mean, I love you guys, but I need more of you guys to listen to this podcast. I'm going to do like the show. The show's going to have its own like Twitter handle. The show's going to have its own Instagram account. The show's going to have its own Facebook page. And then I'll just be a host on that show. You're thinking you're the host. You are the podcast Bug Eye Guy. It's just you talking with some audio piped in. And that is true. But I'm ready. I'm getting there. I'm getting to the final stages where I can start going on the road and I can record a podcast from a PT's bar, or I can record a podcast from somebody's house, or I can have people come over here to my little makeshift studio upstairs in my house and have people come over and we can record, interacting podcast with guest hosts. That's the plan. That's how it's going to go. I'm also going to do a lot of interviews on Skype because honestly, people are busy. People don't have time to drive halfway across town to come do an interview. Or there's people that don't even live in Vegas that cover the Vegas Golden Knights. How are they going to come here to my studio to record in the podcast? That's what Skype's for. So I will be releasing the name shortly, probably another couple days before I get the final logo back. But look, just on social media, later this week, expect to see some news about the new podcast. And now next Sunday, I will be recording episode 30, my 30th podcast. Can you believe I've already done 30 next week? My 30th podcast will be under the new name. So I hope you guys like it. There was two really good options. And here, I'll just tell you guys because you already know. So it's down to Knights Nation Podcast or the Golden Puck Show. Now, I'm partial to both. For me, honestly, I'm just the VGK Bug Eye Guy. I really don't care what the name is. My big thing is if you go to Apple Podcast and you want to type in a podcast and you want to listen to somebody talk about the Vegas Golden Knights, here's the bottom line. Nobody is searching for the VGK Bug Eye Guy. Like, as much as I love y'all and as much as you guys love me, the Bug Eye Guy, nobody's really out there searching for the Bug Eye Guy. Now, sometimes VGK pops up and then it links over and it's with all the other podcasts from the Vegas Golden Knights. But I needed to get something that's more Vegas, more people would understand when they look at it. Because if you look at my cover's cool. I like it. I mean, I did it myself. It's good enough for an amateur. But when you look at it, you don't really know if it's like, is it about the Vegas Golden Knights? Is it just some Bug Eye Guy podcast? What is that? So that's why I'm changing it up. That's the only reason I'm changing it up. And I trust me, my plans for this show moving forward this year, it's just going to get better and better. I'm going to have a lot more interaction with people, and I'm hoping you guys enjoy it. And if you don't, I don't really care because it's my podcast. Now, I know last week's podcast was a little long, and I'm going to try and keep them close to an hour and 10 minutes. And I'm looking right now, and I'm already 7.5 minutes into the podcast, and I haven't really talked about anything Vegas Golden Knights. And guess what? I'm going to bust out my show notes right now. And, oh, cool, my very first thing on the notes is not to talk about something hockey. Back to work following the government shutdown. That is correct, folks. The VGK Bug Eye Guy went back to work this week, spent his whole first week back at work after the ridiculously pointless 35-day government shutdown. And I got back and they were like, welcome back, take it slow. I know you missed a lot and just don't get stressed out. And a couple hours later, they were barking orders. We need this, we need that, we need this. And I'm like, wait, you just told me take it slow. So honestly, very busy at work trying to get caught up and trying to prepare in case if we do this whole government shutdown thing again on the 15th of February. So anyways, the Bug Eye Guy is back to work. I'm happy. Of course, they've got all of our pay screwed up, but they'll figure it out. All right, we already talked about the new podcast equipment. That's cool. I covered that a little early. We already talked about the new name. All-Star and bye week are over. That's correct. So the Vegas Golden Knights are now back. They're back from their little bye week. On social media, it looks like some of them went to Hawaii, some of them went to Mexico, some of the players went to Utah, some of them did staycations. The Bug Eye Guy, honestly, I was happy we had a 9-day break. We had lost a couple games going into the All-Star break, and I was like, you know what, let's just get away, let's take a break. Some people were posting, I need Golden Knights, I need Golden Knights. I was one of the only ones going, I'm kind of happy for the break. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love watching Vegas Golden Knights, but every once in a while, it's good to take a break, take a step back. My buddy Randy's going, hey, are you going to watch this game? I go, what game? We're on the bye week. You go, I think it was the Rangers versus Philly or something. I go, dude, I watch enough hockey throughout the year. I mean, I don't need to watch a game every single day. I love the NHL Network because I can turn it on and watch on the fly for 30 or 45 minutes, get caught up on everything I need to know for the day, and then move on. Now, quickly getting back to the All-Star Weekend, I did think the All-Star Weekend was pretty cool this year. Unfortunately, it was in San Jose with the stupid Sharks fans, but hey, that's not the NHL's fault. I would give a shout out to the NHL for allowing the 2 United States and 2 Canadian female hockey players to participate in the festivities. And I don't know about you guys, but if we can have a WNBA, why can't we have a WNHL? Whenever there's a World Cup or the Olympics, dude, women's hockey is super entertaining and super exciting, and they are very skilled. So why don't they have a place to go? Is it time? Honestly, if the WNBA can be around, I think the WNHL should be there too. And I know the money's a little different between the NBA and the NHL. I get it. But they need to figure something out. And honestly, it's 2019. I think it's time. What do you guys think? You guys think there should be a WNHL? You guys are like, bugger gay, women playing hockey. Come on, man. No, dude, for real. They almost, technically, one of them won in the skills competition. I mean, I know she wasn't technically a participant. And then the other one, she beat a guy in the fastest skating competition. That's all I'm saying. It's 2019. Women power. I'm all for it. They should have their own freaking WNHL. That's all I'm saying. All right, moving on to another story. Polar Vortex. Now, folks, I'm from Las Vegas. I'm from, Henderson, Nevada. I'm from the desert on the West Coast. A polar vortex, I had no idea what those were. But when people were telling me that if they got inside their freezer in their house, it's 80 degrees warmer in your freezer than it was outside in certain places in North Dakota this past week. Yes, folks, I hope everybody stayed warm and protected their families and did what they had to do. I've never been in anywhere that's been that cold before, like ever. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story. When I went to boot camp in the Navy, now I was from Southern California. I grew up in SoCal. I got on a plane at LAX, Los Angeles International, and I flew to Chicago for boot camp 2 days before Christmas. From Southern California going to Chicago and up by the Great Lakes in the wintertime. I showed up in shorts, T-shirt. I'm like, dude, this is my last day of freedom before I go to the military. I showed up. Plane was late. Had to pick up the phone. Had to call and say, hey, I'm ready for my ride to boot camp. The guy shows up, starts yelling, get your stuff in the car, recruit, blah, blah, blah. Well, as the doors opened from the airport out to the vehicle, there's a little sign and it says temperature outside. And it said temperature, I want to say it was like, 4 or 5. And I'm like, I think the LED thing, or back then, I don't know what kind of light system it was, but maybe the bulb burnt out or something. But then the next screen flashed over and it says the temperature with the wind chill, minus 16. I'm going, minus 16? I'm wearing shorts. Bottom line, folks, I was cold from the second I got off that plane by those doors until the second my plane touched down in Pensacola, Florida, months later. So I feel really bad for all these people in the Midwest because, that's hockey area, Minnesota, North Dakota. That whole part of the country is big, big, big hockey, big college hockey. And I hope everybody's okay. It's crazy. I've never seen temperatures like that. That to me blows my mind. In fact, the Bug-Eye wife was in Anchorage, Alaska early this week. And it was like 85 degrees warmer in Anchorage, Alaska than certain places in the Midwest. I don't know. Crazy. All right, folks. I guess we should talk about injury updates for our Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah? Well, William Carrier is still out, still injured. Malcolm Subban is still out, still injured. Riley Smith came back following the break. We'll talk about it here in a little bit. Riley Smith came back. Now, Nick Holden is now banged up, didn't make the road trip. He's hurt, so that means Merrill's playing more, which we'll talk about later. Another big injury that happened for the Vegas Golden Knights last weekend. ugly, ugly knee injury for 6th overall pick from last year's NHL draft, Cody Glass. Cody Glass is the highest ever draft pick of the Vegas Golden Knights. He's an up-and-coming, hopefully, star. He was going in, crashing the net, kind of fell over, and his knee was in an awkward position when another player landed on top of him. Now, he immediately, freaked out and grabbed his knee. You could tell he was in a lot of pain, and it honestly looked really, really bad. Now, luckily, after they took a look at it, they reported he suffered a sprained LCL, has swelling on his MCL, and bruising on bone, and is expected to be out a few weeks. Honestly, after the Howla injury and then seeing that, I was freaking out going, oh, please, not Cody Glass. But it sounds like he got away with just a minor injury and out a couple weeks, which is good. We need William Carrier back. William Carrier needs to come back. He needs to come back on that fourth line with Belmar and Reeves. I hope he gets better. I know he plays a tough game. I was talking to Louis from VGK coverage the other day, and I go, we need Carrier, man. Something about him just sparks energy and it helps going against other teams. He wears down other teams. He's like, dude, but he plays a tough physical. I mean, he's leading the league in hits, and he's been out for weeks, and he still leads the league in hits because he had such a ginormous lead. So I hope he comes back because, honestly, our lines are all over the place right now. There's been roster moves. You guys might have seen it. You might not have paid much attention because it was the bye week, but we had Oscar Dance come up. We sent Lagace back down. Then Lagace came back up, and Oscar Dance went back down. I'm only thinking that's because of the 30 days on the roster and 10 games played situation and reference waivers, which is fine. I get it. I know why they're doing it. They're trying to spread the wealth on that time, on that clock. And then Jake Bischoff. Jake Bischoff got called back up, and I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks. They're going to have to do something back on the blue line. They're going to have to go out and pick somebody up at the trade deadline, or like I said, call up one of our younger guys. Brandstrom, Whitecloud, Bischoff, Haig. There's a bunch of them out there, and it looks like GM George McPhee decided to call up Bischoff. He's been back up with the club. He still hasn't played in an NHL game yet for the Vegas Golden Knights, but hopefully that comes soon. And honestly, the way Merrill's been playing, and dude, I'm Team Merrill 2019. I get it. But, folks, the trade deadline is February 25th. There's already been, Florida made a trade with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Jake Muzzin from the Kings last week went to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So there's been a couple of trades out there where teams are getting ready for the final push of the season and other teams are unloading. Now, it was rumored from our stupid friends, the NHL pundits, Wayne Simmons would be a great fit for the Vegas Golden Knights. For you guys that don't know who Wayne Simmons is, he is a very good player. He was a former LA Kings, been playing for the Philadelphia Flyers for years now. He's a very productive player, and he's also a tough SOB. Now, he's not Reeves tough, but he's close. Now, you put somebody like that on the team, good Lord, that would be a good fit. The problem is we probably would get him just as a rental. He probably wouldn't sign a long-term deal because if you look at the Vegas Golden Knights roster right now, we're going to dive into it in the VGK Rewind section, but Peary's now on the third line. Zykov has been playing on the first or third line. I mean, our lines are kind of all over the place. Where would Simmons go? I don't know. We'll get more into the lines here in just a little bit. For me, I think we need a backup goalie. I know some of you guys are going to hear that statement and go, dude, what? Whoa, Subban. Okay, when Subban's healthy, he's been okay. He's been an okay backup goalie. He helped us out last year, which is fine. He cannot stay healthy. If you can't stay healthy, what's the point? When we're playing Maxime Lagace in a game, technically on the roster, our fourth string goalie, what are we doing? Subban, dude, I like you. Don't get me wrong. I think your brother's a little bitch, poor baby with his finger. But come on, man. Really? If you can't stay healthy, then we need to move on. Maybe we'll be in the position to make a trade. Maybe that's why Lagace played a couple days ago to see if he's worthy of any trade bait, which, newsflash, he's not. But I would like to see someone like a Matt Zuccarello from the Rangers come over. He's kind of like a Marchessault. He's a little guy. He's a scrappy guy. But he gets those good, dirty goals. And right now, that's what the Vegas Golden Knights need. They need to get those dirty goals, cleaning up the trash in front of the blue paint. Stastny and Pacioretty have been trying. They've been getting a lot of good close chances, but I know the puck luck. I get it. But maybe someone like a Matt Zuccarello come to the Vegas Golden Knights could help. And I don't think he would cost nearly as much as somebody like Wayne Simmons from the Flyers. There's going to be a lot of rumors, a lot of rumblings coming up over the next couple weeks directed specifically at the trade deadline. So keep your eyes and ears out there. I cautious you guys, following Twitter and stuff. There's a lot of misinformation that's put out there as well. But honestly, the Vegas Golden Knights have to do something. They have to. They need to get more consistent production from that third line, and they need to figure out what's going on with the first line. The Riley Smith, Wild Bill, Jonathan Marchessault from last year has not shown itself to be consistent this year. And I know there's been injuries, but Marchie and Wild Bill, when Riley Smith is out, look lost. They need that third person. They tried to put Tuck up there. They tried to put Peary up there. For whatever reason, it wasn't working. I don't know what the Golden Knights are going to do. Heck, they might even stay quiet, not make any moves at the trade deadline. Who really knows? It'll be up to GM George McPhee, and I'm kind of curious to see kind of where he thinks his team is and where he feels he needs to make some roster moves. So it'll be interesting. Good time of the year, a lot of news. All right, I want to talk one more NHL news-related story before I dive into VGK Rewind. Last week, the Winnipeg Jets took on the Boston Bruins, and Trent Frederick was in his first NHL game for the Boston Bruins. His parents were in the stands. They were all cheering for their son, making it to the NHL, getting to watch their precious son playing his first game. And what's he do? Well, of course, he gets into a fight with Tanoff from the Jets, and he's throwing haymakers, and they keep cutting to his family, his mom and dad, and they're just super elated, ecstatic. The mom, they're high-fiving, they're cheering. I'm like, normally, the only reason I'm talking about this is because it caught me off guard. Normally, when a NHL kid makes it to the NHL and he plays in his first game, there's a good chance that he flies his family there. They supported him his whole life. They don't want to miss his first ever NHL game. But usually they're all excited when they score a point or get a goal. This is the first time I've ever seen it where the parents were like super proud and excited that their son beat up another dude. Kudos to the Frederick family, though. Hey, it's a new thing for the Bug-Eye Guy, and I thought it was cool enough to talk about it in the podcast. All right, so the Vegas Golden Knights are back. They're back off of their bye. They're getting ready to go on a 4-game road trip to take on the Carolina Hurricanes, the Florida Panthers, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Detroit Red Wings. Here's what Coach Gallant had to say in a little interview right after coming back from the bye week in anticipation for this upcoming road trip. Here's Coach Gallant.
First of all, Gerard, how was your All-Star break?
It was great. I went back to the Maritimes, spent some time with the grandchildren, so I had a great 5 days, Gary.
We usually like to joke that you're in a great mood after you see the grandkids, so I can tell you're smiling today.
I'm in an excellent mood. Feel real good. I think the players are the same way. Everybody's refreshed. It was a good 5 or 7 days off, and now you come back and get ready for the home stretch with 30 games left.
Yeah, 52 in the books and 30 to go here, and this is the opportunity to get in the playoffs, secure a position, and then maybe even work on a little bit of positioning.
Yeah, no, you just want to win games. And like I said, I don't worry about the 30 games. I worry about one at a time. That's what we always talked about. And let's make sure we get enough points to get in that playoff position. And you worry about things after that. But just one game at a time, 2 points at a time, and keep playing well.
Riley Smith skated in a white jersey, not in a light blue jersey anymore. How close is he?
He's real close. He's getting close. Like I said, this break was real good for him, so we'll see where he's at tomorrow and know a lot more tomorrow.
Great.
Now, it's not every day old Brady McNabb gives an interview. Here's what Brady McNabb had to say about, the beginning of the season and what he expects moving forward for the final push. Here's Nabber.
2 games in the books, and this is where you figure out where you're going to be at the end of the season. These are important games coming up.
Yeah, we got a few days of rest, which is nice for the body and the mind, and now we're into the stretch run where we'll find out where we're at. So we're in a good position right now, and we just got to carry that through these next few games.
You're starting to see some trades going on around the league, and is that something that you kind of keep your eye on? I know Jake Muzzin was a friend of yours, and you see him get moved. Is that something that you kind of pay attention to?
I don't know if it's pay attention. You see it, with social media. You see all the news and everything. So, it's that time of year. But for us, it's just, focusing on winning games and focusing on your own game and helping the team win.
What do you know about Carolina and how they play?
They're a young, skilled team. They got a younger decor that can all move, and they play well in their own building. So it'll be a tough test.
Now, it seems like the Vegas Golden Knights always interview Max Pacioretty. Here's Max Pacioretty getting ready for the final push of the season following the bye week.
2 games in, and you've done a lot of hard work to get into a good spot, but now these final 30, this is where you figure out where you're going to be when it's all over.
Yeah, everyone's rested up now. We know that these are always, crucial games in the year to try and get some momentum, try and establish a spot to, compete for the ultimate prize. So that's what we want to do. We've had a couple guys out in and out of the lineup with injuries, so we want to try and make sure that, we get the chemistry going, and, like you said, these last 30 games are very important.
Maybe a good thing to start on the road after the break, kind of get your play a clean and simple direct game and not worry about entertaining folks?
Yeah, we want to be a simple team, especially tomorrow. I think it's important for us to establish our identity from right after the break here. We didn't want to lose those games right before the break. We want to jump right back on the wagon and get used to winning again and make sure everyone in this team has confidence, and that's by keeping it simple and playing the right way.
You're a veteran guy. You've had a good start, but this is kind of, better than anyone else. This is where guys make their names. Be fun to step on the gas individually as the second half gets going here.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely coming to a new team and learning a lot about, a new conference, a new team, a new city, and feeling comfortable individually. It's important for me to find my game here and help this team win hockey games. That's why I'm here. I feel as though since I've been back, from a couple of injuries there, I've been able to establish some good chemistry, and I want to keep that going and, like you said, help this team win, and that's by contributing.
Why not throw a quick interview in from Jonathan Marchessault talking about coming back from the bye, where he thinks the team is. Here's some quick words from Marchie.
Remember this, but the last time you played in this building, it was the first time the Golden Knights moved into first place overall in the NHL. This was last season, and it was a real fun night. You won, and you got to top the whole league. It was a pretty cool moment. What's it like coming back here a year later?
Yeah, it's obviously, it was definitely great memories. I think we worked hard all last year to be in a situation like that, and we came out big at the end of the game. So, I mean, this year's a new year, and we definitely need to get back on track after our last 5 games was definitely not our best.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that. What do you want to do individually as a line and as a team to get back to where you need to be?
Yeah, obviously, I think as a line, we need to be more productive. We keep being good defensively, but we need to be better production-wise. And after, as a team, I think we know how to play. We're a hard-working team. We have a lot of speed, and if we manage the puck well, I think we're really successful, and we're normally winning those games.
They're a young team, and they've got a coach that demands a high standard of work ethic. He was just talking and sort of said, we think we're a lot like Vegas, and they could be a good challenge for you tonight.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they have a lot of skills. They're really good players on the other team, and we definitely need to be ready for them because they're an underrated team in the league, definitely.
So, yeah, folks, the players are back. They're excited. They're ready. They want to shake off the rust of the 2-game losing streak going into the break. Why don't we dive right in now to a little VGK Rewind?
It's time for VGK Rewind, a review and recap of last week's games.
So the first game back following the bye is against the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, the Vegas Golden Knights go into Carolina, both teams coming off of a 9 or 10 game break. I think we were 9, they were 10. And you knew there was going to be a little bit of rust. Riley Smith coming back for his first game following injury. Zaikov's cracking the lineup. There was no Oscar Lindberg and there was no Ryan Carpenter. They had Valentin Zaikov in the lineup along with Riley Smith. Riley Smith was back on the first line. They had Zaikov slated on the third line with Brandon Peary and Cody Eakin. And honestly, this game, here's the problem. It was reported the day prior that Maxime Lagace would be getting the start in net. Now, immediately people started freaking out going, oh, Lagace's in. I'm not going to go too in-depth on the whole Lagace situation because I'm going to talk about that in the What the Puck rant at the end. But Lagace was in. So you already knew, okay, we're going to have to play a little bit better defensively, right? Coming back off the bye, we got to make sure that we're there in support for Lagace, right? Now, there was a goaltender interference call where, in my opinion, there might have been some interference. The player, Justin Williams, for the Carolina Hurricanes, kind of catches Lagace's blocker and kind of holds him up just enough to where I feel he might not be able to get a fair opportunity to get back over and play, to stop the puck. They ruled against the Vegas Golden Knights. And honestly, looking back on it, I'm fine with that. As long as they keep those kind of calls consistent, I'm okay with that. My problem is those calls never go Vegas's way. I mean, it's like clockwork. We always get screwed on the goaltender interference calls. Luckily, we got a power play, and Shea Theodore comes back and ties up the game. Here's the quick audio from Theodore's first goal. Yes, I said first goal.
Van Riemsdyk able to play it to the corner. Stastny, little touch pass for Tuck. Schmidt banks it down for Stastny. Inside, a minute to go on the power play. Here's Theodore on one-timer, and he scores! Shea Theodore with a blast and a new career high, his 7th of the season. It comes on the power play, and it's 1-0 Golden Knights.
So, yeah, that was cool for Shea to get that. And I was watching it, actually. I told the wife, I'm like, they got to get to Shea. They got to get to Shea. And then Shea scored, and I'm like looking at her like, babe, I called it. Like, what? I'm like, babe, I called it. She's like, yes, babe, I know you called it. And I'm like, well, he was wide open. Whatever. Now, not long into the second period, Maxime Lagace dives out from his crease to poke check the puck away, but he poke checks it right to a player for the other team who shoots it on a wide empty net. That was Pesce, B. Pesce. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he scored an unassisted goal. Well, yeah, it was assisted from Maxime Lagace. Either way, I get why Max was doing it. He was just trying. He was, he hadn't played in a while. He was just trying to get the puck out of there. Thought he was helping. It was a bonehead decision. I'm okay with bonehead decisions when you have your fourth string goalie playing in a game. Those are going to happen. Those kind of situations are going to happen. Luckily, Shea Theodore later in the period was able to tie the game up on a beautiful pass by Ryan Reeves right over to Shea Theodore. Boom. Game's tied up. It's 2-2. Here's the audio from Shea Theodore's second goal.
Absorbs a hit from Englund, and Hamilton clears. Here's Reeves. Right back they come with Belmar. And a stick handle his way loose. Dishing it off for Theodore. Walks in. Wrist shot, score! Off the post and in for Shea Theodore. He has both Golden Knights goals, and he's tied it at 2.
His second 2-goal game of the season. And Shea Theodore has done a good job being active, jumping into the offensive plays in this game.
So, yeah, the game's tied up 2-2. The Bug-Eye guy's going, okay, man, we shook off that rust. We're right back in the game. Nope. Lagace lets in a questionable goal in the third period. Empty netter. Yeah, it just wasn't our night. This was the third loss in the row. The Vegas Golden Knights have lost 3 games in a row. This is not good. We lost to Minnesota. We lost to Nashville. Then we had the break. Now we go to Carolina, and we lose to Carolina. Riley Smith was back. Didn't help out the first line. They moved Zykov at the end of the game up to the first line and Riley Smith down to the third line. Honestly, I thought Smith, Eakin, and Peary looked a lot better and looked like they might have something that moving forward might help. Zykov, in my opinion, I don't know why he's on the team. He doesn't fit. I know he's fast. He's looked lost a couple times out there, and he's like afraid to take the shot. He had a couple chances where he was looking for the pass when honestly you're supposed to just take the shot, man. I get it. He's young. I get it. He's talented. But right now, I would rather have Ryan Carpenter than Zykov. At least Carpenter can kill penalties. I mean, at least Carpenter plays a consistent 200-foot game. I mean, yeah, he doesn't score a lot, but the defensive help that you get from a player like that as opposed to a Zykov. And, folks, I know that all they're doing right now is playing Zykov in a couple games as an evaluation. I get it. You can't evaluate a player in practice every day. You have to see what they're going to do in the actual game. So I know that's why he's in there. I don't know if they keep him. I don't know if they're going to end up sending him down to the HL, see if he clears waivers again. I'm not exactly sure. All I know is it ain't really working on the first line. There's no available spot on the second line. It's not really working on the third line. And are you going to put Zikov, Belly, and Reeves? I don't think you do that either. So, honestly, the third loss in the row had the Bug-Eye guy a little upset. Little like, oh, man, this sucks. I mean, we've lost 3 in a row before, but I'm like, man, we've never lost 4 in a row. And then I'm thinking, man, the officials, the goalie interference call, I mean, yeah, okay, fine. It went the way it went. And then when they scored their 4th goal, they clearly high-sticked Pacioretty. They didn't see the play. It ended up being a 2-on-1, and they scored. I'm like, NHL officials, I try to throw you as much love as possible. I do. And sure, I'm being sarcastic, and I really don't throw you love, but I try to. I try and be positive. But you guys constantly make bonehead decisions. And thanks to the NFL right now, like referees are under a microscope. And NHL guys, all we've been asking for is Vegas Golden Knights fans. And sure, we've only been around just over a year and a half, so we're not like the other ones. But all we want is consistency. Consistency is simple. I've talked about this in past podcasts. You guys might not have listened, but it's very hard being Las Vegas, being a brand new NHL market, really a brand new hockey market. Sure, the Wranglers were here and the Thunder were here in the past, but not a lot of people were into it. But because it's professional sports, obviously hockey's blown up here in Vegas, which is awesome. But we have a lot of very, very, very green, very new hockey fans. A lot of people that don't really understand the rules. They don't really understand the sport, but they're excited. They want to learn. They want to understand all the rules. And then you get stuff like these goaltender interference calls where one day it's called goalie interference, the next day it's not, and they're going, Bug-Eye guy, what's goalie interference and what's not? And I'm going, well, shit, the rule book says it in black and white, but one officiating crew says yes, the other officiating crew says no. If they are confused, then they call Toronto, at which point Toronto says, oh, it's the Vegas Golden Knights. Oh, no, flip it. Do whichever the opposite is. I mean, I get it. It's very hard when there's not consistency for new fans to really understand the rules. I mean, last year was tough. They were out to get the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, we were not supposed to be as good as we were. I mean, the playoffs was a perfect example of, in the same game, well, it's goalie interference, but now it's not. But it's the same play. So, honestly, that missed high stick from the officiating crew really sealed the deal for the Carolina Hurricanes to beat the Vegas Golden Knights. Here's what Nate Schmidt had to say following a tough loss, 3rd loss in a row. Is it maybe getting in the team's head? Here's what Nate Schmidt had to say following the tough loss.
Good for 20 minutes of the game. We just didn't have it for the full game tonight. And whatever bounces and both teams had them, right? So, I mean, you got to be able to overcome that type of stuff in the game. And just didn't play well enough to win the game.
And Max didn't look really happy with himself after the 4th goal, but he was pretty good for a good chunk of this game.
Yeah, Max had a lot of, good saves, a couple great ones, especially there late to keep us, in the game. And things happen. I can't expect a guy to be perfect, especially in his first game, and we got to have a better effort for him. He played well, pretty good for the first 20 minutes of the game, and then that's about it.
A little sluggish before the break, and then coming out with this one after. Is this the break, or is there a little bit of a trend that you're not happy with?
I mean, I think it's both. I think it's something that your team needs to figure out a way. Yeah, we went on a good streak there for a little while in January. But we're playing some good hockey, and then we're still playing good hockey and lost some games, and then it starts to creep in that you're not playing well, and you come out with that, a game like tonight where you just don't have it for the whole game, and that's just, break or not, you got to have it for the whole game, and that's what we get paid for.
Now, the one bright spot of this game was the fact that Shea Theodore had 2 goals. Here's what Shea Theodore had to say following a tough loss, but a good game for him.
2 goals, but the way you'd like the game to finish.
Yeah, I think I think we have to be better as a team, and I think they capitalized on some opportunities, and I thought we had a couple close calls that that we could have buried on, but I think we're always going to be a little bit better.
How come maybe is it the break, or what do you think was the difference between your group, because they're coming off the break as well, between their group and your group?
I just thought they were a little bit sharper than us. I think they did a good job pinching and killing a lot of our time trying to get out of the zone, and that's something we have to be better at and we have to focus on for next game.
Not that it was your thing in particular, but it looked like the offense was having a hard time sorting things out in the offensive zone all night long.
Yeah, it seemed like we didn't have too much of a connection tonight, and that's something we have to just focus up and just try and be a little bit sharper.
In terms of the sharpness, did you feel it was more mentally that you guys weren't sharp, or physically, maybe some of the decision making?
Yeah, I think the decision making, as a group wasn't good enough. They were pretty hard on the forecheck, and that kind of shut us down quite a bit. And I think that's something we have to do a better job of adjusting and trying to figure out another way to get out.
And I know at the end they tried to feed the puck to him for a hat trick, but when you're down 2 goals, it's tough. I get it. Here's Coach Gerard Gallant following the tough loss against the Carolina Hurricanes.
Gerard, we'll get your thoughts on the game first.
Didn't play good enough to win. Bottom line, we played good in first, but not good enough to win.
Was it, is this part of the break coming off, or is this something that you haven't liked in your group for a bit?
No, I've liked our group for the most part, but I didn't think we were good enough tonight. Both teams were the same. They had the same break as we had, so it just they were the better team.
Coach Max was saying he'd like his 4th goal back, but also said that he felt like he got back to NHL speed quite comfortably. What do you think of his performance?
Yeah, he was fine. He played hard. He competed hard and battled hard, so fine for his first game this year with us.
How important do you think that 3rd goal was for them? Just the fact that it came late, the fact that you guys could have gone in 2-2 and maybe regrouped a little bit.
Yeah, it was disappointing because, like I said, we worked hard to get that 2nd goal to tie it up late in the period, and then I think it was the next shift or shortly after that they come back at that goal. So it was definitely a momentum changer for sure.
Did you just feel like maybe mentally you guys weren't as sharp, or did you feel like physically it was?
A combination of both. Like I said, we weren't brutal, but we weren't good enough to win. I thought they played a pretty good game, and their goalie made some key saves at key times.
So yeah, that game sucked, right? As Vegas Golden Knights fans, it was kind of painful. Everyone was super pumped up, super excited to finally get to watch some Vegas Golden Knights hockey after a long 9-day break. And then we come to watch that. And then we're like sitting there going, okay, well, this was an early game. So 4:30 East Coast time, or West Coast time, which is 7:30 East Coast time. So by like 8 o'clock, the game's over. I'm sitting there scratching my head going, well, that sucked. That was not fun. Luckily for us, Lagace played, backup goalie. We get Flower back-to-back game Saturday against the Florida Panthers, right? We just shake it off. 3 losses in a row. It's like, okay, we need to shake off the bad juju, head on down to South Florida, and take on the Panthers. Well, immediately once you turned on the Florida Panthers game, you noticed a bunch of empty seats, right? Well, I looked up the official attendance, and I'm questioning the attendance because at the BB&T Center in Sunrise, Florida, it says the attendance was 15,202 people. Now, I guess that could be true, but if you guys watched the Florida Panthers versus the Vegas Golden Knights, you saw a ridiculous amount of empty seats throughout the whole lower bowl. Maybe the upper bowl was packed. I've never been to the BB&T Center in Sunrise, Florida, but I don't know. If you look at the Carolina game the night prior, 17,104 people. So that's about, 1,500 people less than at the Fortress. But 15,202 at that Florida game, I'm calling bullshit unless if those are tickets that season ticket holders actually buy the tickets and don't go to games or can't sell the game. Honestly, I should have looked. I should have gone online on StubHub and seen how much tickets were going for. But by the time I thought about it, it was too late. Either way, I don't know. So, moving past the attendance thing, the Vegas Golden Knights got their butts kicked against Carolina. They hopped on an airplane. They flew down to South Florida to take on the Florida Panthers. Now, the Florida Panthers had just made a big trade with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Derek Brassard was coming in. So now they've got new players. They've got a young up-and-coming team. And guess what? We're playing their backup goalie. Surprise, surprise, right? Seems like all year, every single time we go up against other teams' backup goalies, and they look like freaking all-stars. Now, the Bug-Eye guy's going, well, okay, well, we're going to be okay. You know, that was the past. This is post the All-Star break. This is the new re-energized Vegas Golden Knights. We're going to destroy this backup goalie, right? Wrong. Couple records were broke in this game, with the Florida Panthers scoring the fastest goal ever against the Vegas Golden Knights. Yes, at the very beginning of the game, not 12 seconds into the game, the Vegas Golden Knights are down 1-0. Before you have a chance to even sit down and get comfortable in your chair, your seat, or your recliner, your couch, or wherever it is you're watching the Vegas Golden Knights game, god dang, they're down 1-0 right off the bat. Here's the quick audio from that record-breaking goal.
They took a 1-0 lead into the third period against Nashville, and then the Predators scored 4 goals on 6 shots. Here's Barkov. Wrist shot, score! Holy smokes, 12 seconds into the game, Alexander Barkov ending an 8-game drought. It's 1-0 Florida. Barkov.
Now, lucky for us, earlier in the period, Max Pacioretty was able to go 5-hole against James Reimer and tie up the game. Now, Florida challenged this for goaltender interference. The Bug-Eye guy watched the replay and immediately, started to fume. I started to turn red. I'm like, okay, this is pretty much the exact same play that happened last night against Carolina. Minor contact, out of the crease, puck goes in shortly after. They said it was a good goal against Carolina. If they take this back against us, I'm gonna lose my shit. For real, I was like, there's no way. This is the exact same play. And thank God the officials came out there and pointed to center ice and said,
After reviewing the play, there's no goaltender interference. We have a good goal. There you go. Al Smith.
It was a good goal. Because it was damn near the exact same play. In fact, I'm pretty sure our friends in Toronto were on the headsets going, hey, officials, last night, this Vegas Golden Knights team played Carolina, and it's pretty much the exact same play that just happened, and it counted last night. So the call on the ice was a goal. I think you guys should probably call it a goal. Otherwise, Vegas Golden Knights Nation is going to lose their minds. They ended up calling it a good goal, which was good. It ended up being 1-1 going into the second period. Now, the Bug-Eye guy was feeling fairly confident. It looks like once Patches scored that goal, the team, woke up. They got a little bit of energy. They got a little fired up, and they started to play some Knights hockey. Started using that speed, that killer forecheck. Everything was looking good. So if everything was looking good, Bug-Eye guy, well, why'd we lose? Well, right off the bat, I'm gonna say that the Vegas Golden Knights lost against the Florida Panthers because of toe picks. You're thinking, toe picks? What are you talking about? There was at least 3 times, 2 in particular, where we had players, defensive players, suffer from the dreaded toe pick. Blowout, blown tire, sniper, whatever it is, they lose an edge, and the other team goes right by us. In fact, the breakaway goal was from a blown tire. And then luckily we had another kind of blown situation, but McNabb was able to get back. And sure, he drew a penalty, which ended up being a penalty shot, which ended up being saved by Marc-Andre Fleury's blocker and hit the crossbar. But either way, I don't know if it was the ice. I don't know if it was the temperature in Florida. I don't know what it was, but it seemed like Vegas Golden Knights really in both games, in the Carolina game and Florida, but more in Florida, blowing tires, man, at the wrong time. But that happens. That's a hockey thing. It is what it is. Shea Theodore doesn't mean to blow a tire. It's not his fault. It's just he catches an edge and it happens. It's the nature of the game. But man, it sucked, dude. It was bad timing for the Vegas Golden Knights. If you look at the actual stats from the Florida Panthers game, faceoffs were dead even at 27. Both teams were 0-1 on the power play. We had 2 more hits than them, and we outshot them 35-25. Again, a lot of our shots are going right center mass at opposing team's goalie, or they're low percentage shots. I don't know what the Vegas Golden Knights need to do. They need to do something. They need to shake off this juju because, folks, this is the first time in franchise history that our Vegas Golden Knights are on a 4-game losing streak in the regular season. This is not good. This is every team goes through this. Every team has their ebbs and flows. And right now, it seems like for whatever reason, the Vegas Golden Knights, with the exception of the second line, are struggling to put pucks in the net. Paul Stastny, another record, 7th consecutive game with an assist. No other Vegas Golden Knights ever done that. Second line is contributing. I don't know what they do. I don't know if it's Smith, Marchessault, and Wild Bill. I don't know if they make a trade on that first line. Third line, I kind of like Riley Smith with Brandon Peary and Cody Eakin. I think if those guys get some time, I don't know, that could be good. William Carrier needs to come back. I want Carrier, Reeves, and Belmar back on that fourth line. We were the most productive when those guys were contributing, playing together. I don't know. This is the 4th loss in a row, folks. And what some people might not realize is, sure, the mainstream media pundits are going to be, oh, Vegas is sucky again. We have an opportunity, though, to spin the script, to change the narrative. Yes, sure, fine. We've lost 4 in a row. You can say the Nashville one was close. The Minnesota one really was kind of close. Let's put those behind us. If we go into Tampa Bay on Tuesday and we beat the number 1 team in the NHL, the Tampa Bay Lightning, bam, instantly the pundits are going to be like, the Vegas Golden Knights are back. They're looking good. There's the drawback. What if we go into Tampa Bay and we play like we did against Carolina or Florida and we get our butts kicked? All they're going to be talking about is, what are the Vegas Golden Knights going to do? What happened to the Vegas Golden Knights? They were playing so good, now they're playing so bad. It's scary, right? It could happen. All right, here's head coach Gerard Gallant following the loss to the Panthers and the 4th loss in a row for his Vegas Golden Knights.
We give them too many good scoring chances. They had some, they didn't have a lot of chances or shots, but they had 4 breakaways and a couple 2-on-1, so you can't give the big home run up plays, and that's what happened.
Yeah, Max Pacioretty said there was lots of good stretches, but the chances we're giving away right now are, you used the word home runs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, the winning goal, the first goal, 2-on-1, the winning goal is a breakaway. You had to make 3 other breakaway saves, so we can't win a hockey game like that. They're tight games. They're going to be tight games down the stretch, and we got to play better.
The word frustrated came up a few times from your players in the room after the game. What do you do as a coach just to make sure that frustration doesn't get to them?
Well, they better be frustrated because they got to play better. They got to play harder and work harder. I mean, it's all about winning hockey games, and we played good enough to win again tonight, but we didn't win. So we're making mistakes, and it's costing us. And just play a simple game. We played real good hockey for probably 55 minutes, and we just seemed to give up those big plays, and it hurt us.
Gerard, you find yourself in unfamiliar territory, first 4 game losings you guys have ever had. What do you tell your players?
Get ready for the next one. We can't do nothing about tonight or the last 3 games. We've got to get ready for the next game and play hard. We're going to play against the top team in the league in Tampa Bay, so it's going to be a battle, but hopefully that'll get us back to where we want to be.
You obviously switched the line. Did you see what you kind of wanted to see offensively? I mean, you guys were generating chances.
Yeah, no, I've seen some good things. Yeah, definitely seen some good things, for sure.
Here's a quick word from Marc-Andre Fleury following the tough loss to the Panthers.
But then there were a lot of chances in the second and especially in the third.
Obviously not the start we wanted, right? I don't know how many. That was a quick one. But it's good. Nobody panic, right? We kept playing our game, and now we got a big goal after from Max right away, and but still, it's frustrating, It hasn't been going our way in the last few games here, and we've got to dig in and find a way to win games here.
Any thoughts on why it hasn't been going your way, Marc-Andre?
It's tough to say. Like we've been close in most games, right? I think we've had a few 2-1 games, and I feel like we're in the battle every night, right? We just can't find a way to end up on the right side at the end. Just little things here and there makes a difference, but gotta keep grinding and finding a way.
How important is it to make sure you go into Tampa just worrying about the first shift and nothing beyond that?
Yeah, we can be thinking about our bad streak here. Just like you said, trying to focus on myself, just one shot at a time, and the guys, I'm sure, one shift at a time, and try to do well, to do our best, and turn this thing around.
And the final interview for the Florida Panthers game comes from Max Pacioretty. Here's what Max had to say following another tough loss on the road against the Florida Panthers.
Start you wanted, but it seemed like a lot of chances in the second and the third. Reimer was pretty good.
Yeah, the chances were there. you want to be the difference, and you want to be able to help your team by contributing, and just so close there from scoring and going up, and then they go up. It seems like when we're giving up chances right now, we're giving up the big chances, and that's allowed teams to get on top. So we have to limit that, but also at the same time we have to try and bear down and bury our chances as they come.
How important is it, when you guys are going good, you really just focus on the next shift, the next period? How important will that be going into Tampa, not to worry about a number of losses and worry just about starting well?
At the end of the day, we're professionals. I think everyone in this room has been in this situation before. So, from past experiences, just worry about that next shift, that next period, and the first period in Tampa is going to mean a lot to this team at this point in the year. So we got to make sure that we block out the last 4 games and make sure that we find a way to have confidence going into that game.
You've been in this room now for a while. Is there the right kind of leadership to help push this team out of a situation like this?
Yeah, this is a resilient group. We faced a lot of adversity earlier in the year. Obviously, everyone in this room has been through some sort of adversity. That's why we're all here, and we're going to need to use those experiences now to dig out of this and play a very good team on the road by playing the right way for an entire game, and that's the only way you beat a team like Tampa. So that's what we have to do, and we have to make sure our minds are set on doing that.
All right, folks, so what's on tap next week? Well, like I just mentioned, next Tuesday, the Vegas Golden Knights head into Tampa Bay to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, it's going to be a tough game, going to be a highly televised game, and hopefully the Vegas Golden Knights can go in there and shake off this bad juju and snap this 4-game losing streak and get the W. Thursday, our Vegas Golden Knights head up to Detroit to take on the Detroit Red Wings. That'll be a tough game. Detroit's kind of struggling this year, but honestly, right now the Vegas Golden Knights are too. So Detroit Red Wings next Thursday. Finally, Saturday, February 9th, the Vegas Golden Knights return home to the fortress known as T-Mobile Arena to take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. That's a 7 o'clock puck drop. That'll be a fun, exciting game. I'll be glad to get the Vegas Golden Knights back home. Hopefully they can get a couple of wins on the road this week and come back on high and not come back on a low. But if they do come back on a low, fear not. Vegas Golden Knights, Medieval Maniacs, whatever you want to call us, we'll be in the fortress loud and proud cheering on our Vegas Golden Knights. So I'm excited for that game. Haven't been to the fortress in a while, and I'm ready. Yeah. All right, so that's on tap. What's next? Next segment for the podcast is, here you go.
And now, Numbers Don't Lie, the segment in the podcast where your host is about to bore you with player and team stats that you probably won't remember.
All right, folks, welcome to Numbers Don't Lie, the lovely section that you guys love to hear me go on and on about, right? No. Let's talk some stats for the Carolina Hurricanes game. Maxime Lagace, he let 4 goals in, had 27 saves for a .871 save percentage. Shea Theodore's 7th goal of the season, assisted by Nate Schmidt and Paul Stastny. And Theodore's 2nd goal was assisted by Ryan Reeves. Shots on goal was 25 for the Vegas Golden Knights to 32 for the Carolina Hurricanes. And we lost that game. Against the Florida Panthers, Marc-Andre Fleury played. He had 22 saves, let in 2 goals for a .917 save percentage. Fleury's record year-to-date is 27-15-4. Max Pacioretty scored his 16th goal of the season, assisted by Paul Stastny, and that was it for the Vegas Golden Knights. That's it for that game. Not good, right? I know. So where are Vegas Golden Knights at right now? Well, 40 points for Alex Tuch, 35 for Jonathan Marchessault, 32 for Wild Bill. Pacioretty's up to 29, Riley Smith, 27, Cody Eakin, 26, Shea Theodore, 24, and it goes on and on and on, right? Now, my favorite stat to talk about, of course, is hits. You guys know every podcast I like to talk about it. Here's the deal. William Carrier. I've said it throughout this podcast. We need you back. We need you back soon because you've only played 44 games. You still have 219 hits. Ryan Reeves is catching up, though. He's played 53 games. He's up to 196 hits. Now, Lucic has been holding down the 3rd spot for most of the year. But Tanev from Winnipeg and Cedric Paquette from Tampa Bay have both moved past Milan Lucic. They both have 174 hits. Lucic does have 173, so he's only 1 hit away. But either way, our Vegas Golden Knights are getting some challenges from other players throughout the league's reference hits. We need Carrier back. Let's quickly talk the division and talk playoffs. So right now, the Pacific Division, 71 points for the Calgary Flames, 67 points for the San Jose Sharks, 62 points for the Vegas Golden Knights. Yes, we've played 54 games, so unfortunately, Calgary still has 2 on us, and San Jose has 1 on us, and they're kind of pulling away. The good thing is if the Vegas Golden Knights can shake this off, I think we'll be all right, because the wild card right now is currently Minnesota with 56 points and Vancouver with 54 points. So the Vegas Golden Knights still have a little cushion for a playoff spot, but they really need to right the ship, and they need to start getting some points. Now, the last couple podcasts, I've been throwing a little Chicago Wolves stats, and the Chicago Wolves had a little bit of a break as well because they had their all-star break. But last week, I had told you that Chicago had fallen from second place down to third place. Well, fear not, folks. Chicago Wolves are back up in second place with a record of 25-15-5. Updated stats for the Chicago Wolves. Let's see. Derek Carr still leading the team. Played 40 games, got 23 goals, 34 assists for 57 points. Brooks Masek got 19 goals, 26 assists for 45 points. Peary is still third on the team with 18 goals, 24 assists for 42 points. Yep, let's go down here real quick to Eric Brandstrom. Brandstrom's played 34 games. He's got 6 goals, 18 assists for 24 points. That's a quick update from the Chicago Wolves. All right, I think I've bored you guys enough with boring player and team statistics, and numbers don't lie. All right, folks, I'm about done with this episode of the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy Podcast. Quick want to remind you all that if you do enjoy this podcast, please subscribe. Reach out to whatever podcast platform you use and go ahead and subscribe. Hit the little bell so that you get reminders of when new episodes come out. I'm also uploading them to YouTube. If you want to be at work and you just want to open up YouTube real quick and just listen to the audio portion, it's available. Just type in the search bar, VGK BugeyeGuy Guy. And of course, if you're listening, and thank you if you've gotten this far into the podcast, let a friend know. Say, hey, man, I got this friend, Nick. He calls himself the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy. He does this podcast. He talks Vegas Golden Knights. It's awesome. It's cool. You should really check it out. I would appreciate that. And if you think my podcast sucks, I would appreciate it if you say nothing. All right, folks, it's time for that portion of the podcast, the way I end all my episodes with a little...
What the puck? Seriously, what the puck?
All right, Vegas Golden Knights fans, this week's What the Puck rant topic, well, I've got 2 of them. One is, what's the deal with the Vegas Golden Knights partnering with all these ambulance chasers? Seriously, like, how many, I mean, talk about competition. If they're all partners of the Vegas Golden Knights, I mean, you guys are all competing for each other. And I've never understood the whole ambulance chasing lawyer thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I've watched the commercials. I've heard the jingles. I mean, we all know them. We all love them. Doesn't matter what town you're in. You know a jingle of an ambulance chasing lawyer in your town. For us, we've got Adam Kuttner. We got Glenn Lerner. We got this Navari guy that's now seems to interrupt my games with these little quick, 10-second videos about his law stuff. And, of course, we've got Ed Bernstein, right? You can't forget about good old Enough Said, Call Ed. I don't get it. There's even a Panda Law. If you watch stuff online, there's another Panda Law firm or something. How much does advertising cost? It's kind of expensive, right? I mean, how much money are you making literally chasing around fender benders? I mean, because let's be real. If you really get hurt, are you really going to call Glenn Lerner, the heavy hitter? Are you going to have him come help you out if you got really seriously fucked up? No, you're going to call a real lawyer, right? And I get it. I know they're real lawyers. I get it. I understand. It just seems to me that I don't understand the business model, but they all seem to want to pay the Vegas Golden Knights to be able to advertise for them. So the billboards, the radio commercials, the TV commercials, it's like, how much money are they actually making if they're spending all this money monthly just to tell people to come to them? I don't know. I mean, that's not really a rant. That's more kind of like a bitch. I don't understand, but I mean, look, I'm not in that niche. I'm not in that industry, so I don't understand it. Just like some people don't understand the industry that I'm in. I get it. Just seems like an awful lot of commercials and an awful lot of over-the-top drama. I don't know. Second topic I quickly wanted to talk about, and this is more of a rant than the lawyers, is fans Vegas Golden Knights fans in particular, bashing our goalies or always blaming our goalies for a loss. Now, this is a team sport, folks. Sure, Lagace letting in some questionable goals the other day against Carolina didn't help the team, but that's not the reason the team lost. This is a team game. You got to have 100% effort from all players on the ice at all times. And sure, sometimes goalies make bad decisions. Sure, sometimes goalies let in shots that maybe players think they shouldn't have let in. It's the nature of the beast. It's the nature of the game. But these constant posts of, oh, Lagace's playing, we're going to lose, or oh, Lagace's terrible, oh, blah, blah. I get it. I understand that you're frustrated that Fleury can't play every single game. There's some fans out there that literally don't understand why Fleury doesn't play every game. There's also some fans out there that think Lagace is like the worst player ever, and he's not. He's done pretty good this year in the AHL, and he made some really, really great saves in the game that he played. But instantly, people want to blame and belittle and, oh, you're not a real fan if you put down our players. Now, that specific statement probably pisses off the Bug-Eye guy the most. If you're a real fan, if you're a true fan, first of all, nobody else can tell you you're a true fan other than you. And second of all, if you bash a player on your own team because they screwed up or because they are not giving 110% effort if they are not playing well, then you're entitled to say that. I mean, hello, have you guys not listened to the Bug-Eye guy over the last year? Team Merrill? Really? Would you have ever thought that I would be Team Merrill? Or do you really think I really am Team Merrill? Or is this just all a fancy ha-ha Team Merrill 2019? Because at the end of the day, folks, I get it. John Merrill is a number 7 or number 8 defenseman for the Vegas Golden Knights. Because of injuries, because of luck, because of timing, he plays. And if you watch him on the ice, if you focus your eye directly on John Merrill throughout the game, you're going to see why the Bug-Eye guy sometimes has a tough time staying positive and saying positive things about his play on the ice. Only on the ice. He made a couple good plays. I've been cheering for him like crazy. He's made some bonehead, stupid decisions. He's blown tires. I get it. You're allowed to be a little negative as long as you're not a straight up asshole. Whenever I talk bad about John Merrill's performance on the ice, I'm always quick to say, well, he's probably an awesome dude off the ice. And it's just his game. The way he plays his game reference other players on this team. In my opinion, it seems to not match up. It seems like he's lost out there sometimes, or he's not attacking hard into the boards. It's like, dude, you're the defenseman. Why is your forward crashing hard back behind the net, fighting for that puck? You're the defenseman. That's your job. That is not William Karlsson's job. That's your job. Karlsson's going to come in and help and support, but you're like hanging out in the back wanting to support him. It doesn't work that way, which is why I want the team to give someone like Bischoff a chance, or bring up a Nick Hague, or bring up a Brandstrom, or go out and pick somebody up at the trade deadline. The team is in love with Merrill. And I bash Merrill, and it's okay to bash Merrill. It's okay to bash Brandon Lipstick. It's okay to bash David Perron for not playing defense. I'm tired of fans, and I know we have a lot of fans that are new to hockey, so I get it. But it's like one loss is the end of the world. 2 losses, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Well, newsflash, folks, we're at our 4th loss in the road. Is it the end of the world? No. It's just some bad luck. No puck luck, a couple lucky bounces, a couple bad breaks. They'll figure it out. They're professional athletes. They have no choice. They have to figure it out, or GM George McPhee is going to get somebody in here that will figure it out. So relax. Don't call out people's fans. Don't get mad when fans are kind of negative on the team when the team's playing bad. You don't ever hear the negative stuff when the team's winning, right? It's only, oh my God, we've lost 2 in a row. What are we going to do? It's the end of the world. No, it's not. Relax. Can't win every game, okay? Newsflash. You cannot win every game. Relax, people. It's not the goalie's fault. Sometimes it is the goalie's fault, but you got to look at the whole play. Where were the defensemen? Were the defensemen in the right spot? Did the defensemen pinch and then get burned on the backside? Did they blow a tire? Was it a lucky bounce off the boards? Did it hit the referee? I mean, there's all different things that can factor in. It's not always the goalie's fault. And sure, it sucks when you know Max Lagace is going to play. As a Golden Knights fan, I mean, I'm a fan, dude. Trust me, I get it. I'm like, fuck, Lagace's playing? I mean, I get it. I understand where people are coming from. I understand the negative responses and reactions you get from a move like that. But again, folks, Fleury can't play every game, and our number 2, our backup goaltender, cannot stay healthy, cannot stay healthy. And honestly, at the beginning of the season, when he did play, he was letting in soft stuff too. So really, Subban versus Lagace, is it really that big? I think Subban's got more upside and more athletic. But again, Lagace hasn't really been hurt. Lagace has been there whenever the Vegas Golden Knights call on him. Can you say the same for Subban? I don't think so. I don't know. All right, folks, I've taken up way too much of your time. Once again, thanks for tuning in to episode 29 of the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy Podcast. I really do appreciate it. And I guess this is a goodbye, because next week there will be no VGK BugeyeGuy Guy Podcast. It will be the blank podcast hosted by the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy. How cool is that? I just put a bunch of blanks there just to kind of mess you up to see, well, man, he just said like 5 blanks. How long is his podcast name going to be? I don't know. You're going to have to wait and find out. Again, check me out on social media at VGK BugeyeGuy Guy. I'll be available on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Podbean for my podcast. You can go to VGKbugeyeGuy.com. You can go to all these cool spots and interact with the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy. Thanks again. I'm looking forward to the name change. I hope you guys like it. If you guys don't like it, literally it's going to be like 2 sentences in this podcast, and everything else is going to be the same. Well, there's probably a good chance next week I'm going to have some new segments. I'm going to have interviews. I'm going to have some guest hosts. Probably not next episode, but there's going to be guest hosts for the podcast. Look, folks, it's 2019. Enough already. It's time to step up my game and take this podcast to a whole new level. All right, folks, that's it. Episode 29's done. I love you. And as always, duh, BugeyeGuy Guy, go Knights, go.
Listening to the VGK BugeyeGuy Guy Podcast. The VGK BugeyeGuy Guy is available on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at VGK BugeyeGuy Guy. For a full recap of this podcast or to listen to past episodes, please visit www.vgkbugeyeguy.com.